Hi there, this is Ranjit and I have the Moto Z2 Play with me, and in this video we'll be doing the in-depth review, and I'll be dividing this review between the pros and cons so that you can decide if this handset is good for you or not. And I've already done the unboxing and general overview of this Moto Z2 Play, so you can check out that video for more info, and there I also showcased a lot of camera samples with this device. So again, link for that video will be there in the YouTube show notes. Before I divide this review between pros and cons, here is a quick specs overview of the Moto Z2 Play. This is powered by the Snapdragon 626 chipset, and the variant that is being sold in India has 4GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage. It has a fingerprint scanner, NFC, and a 3000 mAh battery, and rest of the specs are here on the screen. So let's divide this review between pros and cons, and the pricing for this device here in India is rupees 28,000, both in the offline market as well as online. Online, it's being sold in India via Flipkart. I'll have the link for Flipkart in the YouTube show notes. And I have tested this device now for almost 7 days before producing this review. So let's talk about the pros first. What are the good things that you like about that I liked about this device during my testing? And the first thing that you'll immediately notice when you hold this device is that how slim this device is. It's a really slim device. If you compare it with the original Moto Z Play that was launched last year, this feels a lot lighter and slimmer to hold. As you can see, yes, you have that camera hump at the back because of the Moto mods. I'll talk about that later. And again, it's a Motorola device, so still it's running on this almost stock Android experience that you will expect. It has the Google Assistant and also Moto Voice and other actions, and I like the fact that they are now using this new Pixel launcher on this Moto Z2 Play. It has those functions. For example, if you tap on some of the icons, it gives you more options. This generally works mostly for Google apps, but some third-party apps have also enabled that sort of functionality, so it works. And in general responsiveness and usage with this device, I did not face any issues of lagginess while I was using this phone. As I mentioned, the variant that is being sold in India comes with 4GB of RAM. There is also one more variant internationally that comes with 3GB of RAM, but that is not being sold in India. The one that we are getting comes with 4GB of RAM and 64GB internal storage. And moving to the screen quality, it has a Super AMOLED screen, and it's a 1080p panel, not a Quad HD, but it's a very good AMOLED display that Motorola has put on, and it has all the sensors that you would expect. And I really like the fact that the auto brightness sensor is very finely tuned on this one. Generally, many of the other smartphones, they have auto brightness sensor, but again, when you come to indoor lighting conditions, you have to continuously adjust that. That's not the case. The auto brightness sensor is actually really good on this device, and it can go really low and really bright if you want. So I like the auto brightness sensor and the screen quality that you're getting with this Moto Z2 Play. Now moving to performance, again the performance was good. It is having the Snapdragon 626 chipset, which is an octa-core processor, and in terms of performance, it's similar to the last year's Moto Z Play. Again, the Moto Z Play, even last year version was good, and it did not exhibit any lagginess while using the device, and that's the same case even with this one. This one is also a very snappy device, and in my daily usage with even heavy browsing and using it on 4G and stuff, I did not have any problems. And yes, this phone is also VoLTE supported, so it works with Jio SIM. I tested it with Airtel 4G and Reliance Jio during my testing time period. Now moving to the fingerprint scanner. The fingerprint scanner is here on the front, and again, it's a very responsive fingerprint scanner. As you can see, I just tap and it works. It's a very reliable fingerprint scanner. I'm not even looking at the phone and I know the fingerprint scanner will just simply work. So extremely reliable fingerprint scanner. And the fingerprint scanner, you can also shut down the screen while the screen is on. If you just tap on this for a second, it shuts down the screen, so you don't have to actually use the power button every time. As you can see, you can shut it off and you just tap it and it unlocks. And you can also use this fingerprint scanner if by default you have this on-screen buttons on this device, but Motorola has provided settings and you can disable these buttons and just opt for this fingerprint scanner, and you can use that. For example, if you swipe to the left, it goes to the back, right, it acts like the recent apps, and if you tap, it acts like a home button. So you can do that. This we found even on the Moto G5 Plus, very similar functionality that we have even on this Z2 Play. Now moving to the camera, here I feel Motorola has improved the camera performance, specifically the rear facing camera. Now it has a f1.7 lens, and it has the face dual pixel and even laser autofocusing system. Hence, due to that, the focusing speed is actually really fast, and even in video, when we move from a far away object to a closer object, the focusing is actually really quick, and I did not have any issues. And in terms of general camera performance, the camera performance was actually very good, as you can see from these sample shots. So certainly improvement in the camera performance comparing to the last generation, that is the original Moto Z Play. The front facing camera also has improved a little bit. Now it's a 5 megapixel shooter, and it has that dual tone LED flash now. Now moving to gaming, I did play quite a few games with this one, and I started with the Mortal Kombat X, and as you can see, it handled Mortal Kombat X without any issues. I did not face any issues of lagginess, and again I have to stress the screen quality on this one is actually really good. Then I moved to Mortal Kombat 5, and here also I did not have any issues with Mortal Kombat 5. And finally I moved to Asphalt 8, and for the most part, as you can see, gaming with Asphalt 8, and by the way, this was at the highest graphic setting. I did not face any major lag, but yes, at times I noticed some minor lag. But the good thing was that even after about 20 minutes of heavy gaming, the handset did not tend to heat up. As you can see, it barely touched temperatures of about 39 degrees Celsius. Now moving to the headphone jack. It has a headphone jack, though it's a very slim phone, it has the headphone jack, and if you're a music lover, you'll like the audio output from the headphone jack. I tested with a variety of headphones that I had, and the audio output that I was getting from the headphone jack was actually very good, very warm sound signature that you get. Now moving to the battery life, this one is having a 3000 milliamp hour battery, and many people were worried how would be the battery life, because the original Moto Z Play had a 3500 milliamp hour battery, and I have to say the battery life was actually pretty good. Don't have to worry about it. It can easily last for a typical working day. As you can see from the charts, in my usage, it was typically lasting for about 1.5 days, and I was getting anywhere screen on time between 5 to 5.5 hours with this device. And yes, this one also supports fast charging, so you don't have to worry. With the supplied charger, that's a 15-watt fast charger. It charges, it was at around 6%, and it charged completely to 100% in about 1 hour 20 minutes. Now moving to another thing that I really like with this device is that regarding the SIM slot, it's a dual SIM device, but it also has a dedicated slot for a SD card. So you can actually put two nano SIMs and a SD card at the same time. This might be a useful feature for some people. And moving to the last thing, that is regarding the cellular quality. Again, it's a Motorola device, and as I mentioned, I tested it with the Reliance Jio and Airtel 4G, and I did not have any issues regarding the cellular call quality. The cellular call quality was actually very good. So these are some of the good things that I liked about this device. Now moving to the cons, and these are the things that I did not like with this device. First thing you would have immediately noticed is that this one has that camera hump, and this is due to the Moto mods. But if you're a person who does not use the Moto mods, this camera hump is there. But again, you don't have to be worried about it. If you place it on a surface flat, there is a slight rim, metallic rim, and the lens actually does not touch. But again, I do not like this camera hump, which can be a little bit annoying if you don't use the Moto mods. Moving to the speakers, the earpiece is the speaker on this one, and it's okay. I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker, but when I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, I frankly felt that the volume output should have been louder. So again, I feel it's okay. I did take quite a few calls using the speaker phone, and it was fine. But in some of the YouTube videos that I was watching, I did watch a lot of YouTube videos with this one. Even at max volume, I felt that the volume level could have been a little bit higher. And again, many of you have asked about this. Again, as this is a Motorola device, they don't have any physical LED notification light for notifications. For notifications, they use this Moto display. When you get a notification, it lights up, and it has a sensor. For example, if you just wave your hand, it lights up and shows you the notification. But if you are expecting a physical LED notification light, that is not there. This works fine because if the phone is also lying on the desk and if you just wave your hand, it shows and gives you an icon if there are any notifications. Now moving to the pricing in India. In India, it's priced at around 28,000, and certainly it's sort of a premium pricing for a Snapdragon 626 chipset. And I don't like the fact that Motorola did not introduce the 3GB RAM model that comes with 32GB of internal storage. If they would have done that, they could have lowered the pricing to about 25,000. And as it's a Motorola device running almost stock Android experience, even with 3GB of RAM, it would have run fine. But we are only getting the 4GB 64GB model in India, and certainly Motorola has increased the price because the original Moto Z Play is still selling for 25,000. So certainly you're going to pay a premium. And lastly, coming to the Moto mods, again it is compatible with older Moto mods and the new Moto mods that are coming. So you have the Moto mods functionality. For example, when I was in Goa where it was launched, I checked out some of the Moto mods like the Hasselblad camera accessory and the projector mod and the JBL speaker mods. But again, these mods are pretty expensive. For example, the Hasselblad and the projector mod cost anywhere between 15 to 20,000. If you purchase while you're purchasing the phone, I think you get for 15,000. But if you purchase afterwards, those cost about 20,000. Even the JBL speakers mods that you get, and yeah, the sound was good if you put that JBL speaker mod, but that is also costing about 5,500 to 6,000. So the mod functionality is there, it's unique, but again, those mods are pretty expensive. So to sum it up, it's a good smartphone and a pretty functional smartphone, but certainly you are paying a premium for the build quality, the slimness, and for the Moto mods functionality that you might use or might not use. There are some other smartphones in this price band. For example, the OnePlus 3T is still being sold in India, and that is for about 30,000, about 2,000 rupees more. And certainly that has a more powerful chipset, that is the Snapdragon 821, and that's also a great phone. Comes with 6GB of RAM. Not particularly stock Android, but Oxygen OS is again very close to stock Android. But if I have to compare overall, I would say the OnePlus 3T is still a fabulous device, one of my favorite devices. But in two areas, this Moto Z2 goes ahead compared to the OnePlus 3T is the camera performance on this Moto Z2 Play is better than the OnePlus 3T, and also in terms of battery life, this Moto Z2 Play will give you better battery life than the OnePlus 3T, almost 1 hour extra SOT compared to the OnePlus 3T. So here you go. This is the review for the Moto Z2 Play. I hope you found this review helpful. And again, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.